Hi, I'm Shane, and welcome to the channel. If you want to learn how to fix sticky quick attach pins or implement attachment handles on your skid steer, stick around and we'll help you get a handle on things. You know, I bought this old skid steer used a number of years ago, and when I bought it, I knew there were a few things that were going to have to be fixed on it. One of those things were the Bobtach implement attachment handles. They weren't working real great when I bought the machine, and they sure haven't got to working better since. So it's wintertime. I've got a little bit of downtime. It's time to get some stuff done around here. Now, this is your standard skid steer Bobtach type setup. I've got two handles. One of them is in pretty good shape, but it's still sticky. And then I've got this one here. It's bent and got all kinds of problems. And it just needs to be replaced completely. Now, it's pretty common when you're replacing these things that there's a spindle right here, and that spindle is usually damaged. It's got a crack in it or what have you, and it'll need to be replaced. That's going to require a little bit of welding. The bigger problem I've got is these pins don't come out when I go to throw the handles, and they don't want to go in very easily either. So I've got to get those things replaced and figure out what's going on here. Until you take it apart, you really don't know for sure what you've got, but replacement of this assembly is necessary on this side at least. Now, this is not a super cheap repair. I think I've got $200 into the parts to do just one side from Bobcat. They do like their pieces and parts. We'll start by removing the nut off of this spindle and pull the handle off and see what kind of shape that spindle's in. I don't have much faith that it's in good shape. We'll start with a 9/16 box wrench. Well, that could be a problem, huh? Well, as I suspected, this stud and the bolt going through it aren't in very good shape. We'll have to deal with that before this is done. Let's go ahead and remove the pin and the spring and all that stuff. In order to do that, we'll have to knock this roll pin out. Now, I don't have a punch anywhere near that size, but I don't have to be real fancy. I'm going to throw this away anyhow. That's a good start. That roll pin should drop right out the bottom onto the floor. And there it is. And this pin is seized in there pretty tight. Let's see if we can drive it out through the bottom. Boy, that's sticky. And there's the pin. It's got sand on it and a little rust and all that kind of stuff. Everything you would expect. You know, after a couple of minutes in the parts washer, and I knocked the burrs off the back side of this, I don't see any reason at all why that can't be reused. You put it back in with the angle facing up. There's no reason whatsoever why that can't be reused. And you know, the same thing goes for this. There's nothing broke here. There's nothing bent here. It's got a little rust on it. That ain't gonna hurt anything. The spring's not broken. I'm gonna reuse that as well. If you are gonna reuse this linkage assembly, make sure that the head swivels freely, because the reason for this spring is that it allows the head to bounce just a little bit as you're throwing the levers into place. So it looks to me like my primary problem is right here. And that's going to make this repair a whole lot less expensive. So what we got going on here is we've got a bushing that's welded into this part here. That's this top shoulder is what you're seeing right there. And this sleeve is right there. Now, if you look at this one, it's broken. The bolt going through, it's all bent. It's just a mess. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get the grinder out and I'm going to have to cut that weld and knock that bushing and that bolt out of there. and then stick this one up inside there and weld her in place. You'll see that it's only sticking up out of there, quarter inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch on the front side here. So it doesn't really come up back through too much. On the back side, it's slotted so that the bolt that fits in there won't turn. So these are the parts we're going to be replacing. Like I said, this project just got a whole lot less expensive. Okay, for this part of the job, I'm just going to use a angle grinder, and I'm going to cut her off right there and then cut down into the weld and get that out of there. Okay, so I got the old bushing out, and I've got the new bushing, fits in the hole. And you just got to press fit it in there, and then I'm going to have to weld it in. Was it as bad as it looks, you ask? Yeah, it was as bad as it looks. The way that I did it, mine was welded in very, very well. I ground it off on the top side, and then I cut it off and ground it off on the bottom side, and I still couldn't get her to pop out. So what I did then is I drilled a hole straight through it. Then I took an end mill, and I put it on my drill, and I just hogged it out of there. So that's how I got it out. It wasn't much fun. It took me about 30 minutes, and I learned a couple of new 4-letter words along the way. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing welded in. We'll get back to you after the welding's done. Hey, could you do us a favor? Go ahead and hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. It only takes a second, and it really helps the channel. Thanks. Well, there we have it. The bushing's welded in. I do a little bit of patch and repair here where there was a crack, and another crack over here. So got that all taken care of as long as I had the welder out. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of paint on this, and we will get it all put back together. All right, the linkage is on. And I've got the roll pin pounded down. It's about even. Sticking out even on each side. Well, let's put the handle on. You'll notice these are left-right specific. Make sure you get the right one for your application. When you put them over that bushing, you'll notice that they ride very sloppy on there. That's the way they're supposed to be. I didn't design them. That's how it is. Set it over the top there. Put on your spring. Put on the washer. Put on the nut. 9/16 wrench. We'll tighten her down a little bit here. And looky there, that's exactly what we were looking for. That's perfect. Well, this side's done. I'm going to go ahead and take care of the other side as well. I'm just going to clean that side up and then put her back together. I think that'll take care of that one. We'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.